The dangers firefighters face every day may seem obvious. They are the ones that run into a burning building when everyone else is running away.
But firefighters are facing an even greater invisible health threat: cancer. In this special report, WIAT 42 News reporter Lee Garner explains what some are calling an undiagnosed epidemic in the fire service.
These days, firefighters don't risk going into burning buildings that look like they could cave in.
All of a sudden you're there, there's no going back. It's, if you knew then what you knew now, would it be different?
But it wasn't a collapsing home that put Dave Nathan in danger. It was his own body that had become unstable.
You have multiple myeloma.
Cancer was eating away at his bones from the inside.
That's when I figured out, well, there's a lot of this and it's not tested for in the fire service.
Nathan began to research. He showed us studies indicating firefighters have statistically higher rates of multiple kinds of cancer than most people.
I mean, their exposure contact is huge, and potentials is just endless, actually.
From the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, that includes, but is not limited to, testicular cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and yes, multiple myeloma.
How convinced are you that it was in fact something on the job that caused your cancer?
Oh, 100%.
But there is no immediate or visible impact of carcinogenic exposure.
Why do you get cancer? Some kind of carcinogen that you're exposed to, and it has a lot to do with how much and for how long you're exposed.
Not that long ago, having dirty turnout gear was still considered a badge of honor.
You wanted it all nasty and grimy, and it made it look like you'd done something, that you'd been to some fires and things like that.
Add that to diesel exhaust from fire trucks or the reluctance to wear air packs and masks.
It was sometimes, do we squirt water on the fire or do we put this on and let the fire get bigger?
Why do you need your helmet?
We're going to get to that in a little bit.
Larry Junkins was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma when he was just 39 years old.
My kids were young. My oldest one was 6 at the time, and he would come and actually lay on the bed with me when I felt my worst and just lay there and hold my hand at 6. So we all pulled together.
Junkins isn't sure his cancer was caused by his job, and he still works with many of the same guys that shaved their heads to support him during treatments.
After my experience with cancer, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, much less one of my fellow firefighters. Same way about if I don't want to carry nothing home to my family.
Without a doubt, things have changed since Junkins or Nathan started their firefighting careers.
It's just because we're better educated about what you can find in these type fires with hydrocarbons and man-made synthetics, things like that. They're very, very bad for you to breathe when you're around them.
Gear is washed after every major incident and stored away. Firefighters shower off as quickly as possible. Personal protection equipment is used more often and longer.
Change comes slowly in any area, especially in the fire service. It's been shown over the years, but when we start dealing with our health and dealing with our families, it becomes something serious that we take notice of.
But that's not to say the firefighter cancer problem is now solved, or that all departments are even able to take such precautions.
We're continuously refining our personal protective equipment and methods in the fire service, but now we know that even the things we're doing today might not be effective. So certainly practices from 10, 20, 30 years ago were not sufficient, but we aren't there yet.
Alan Rice is part of a new Fallen Firefighters Foundation steering committee. It's geared towards understanding the threat of cancer among firefighters and developing strategies to combat it.
We're very fortunate in Alabama that we do have a presumptive cancer law for firefighters. And it doesn't cover every type of cancer, but it does cover the ones that traditionally have been considered related to our career.
But as new research becomes available, those cancer types could change. As for Nathan and Junkins, they are both currently in remission.
Yeah, we still have concerns that it could come back, but we don't dwell on it. We just celebrate that I'm cured,
Lee Garner, WIAT 42 News, coverage you can count on.